So I'm here today with Alec Blacklaw. Hi, Alec. It's great to have you
Hey,
on.
Tom.
Yeah, and just chatting today a little bit about collaboration, what it means, how it fits into a digital economy, how people can leverage collaboration, and what holds most people back. So I guess we'll start off with introductions. Alec, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Um, so I'm a business advisor, but probably more important than being a business advisor is I really help businesses connect and create a business that's more profitable, valuable, and enjoyable, which is a huge amount of fun because when business owners have a business that's like that, they've got so many more options. And my other key role is with the MSI Global Alliance as the representative for this part of the world. That's a lot of fun too because we're able to help our clients through collaboration, which we're going to touch on, really do and enjoy a lot more. So we're in about 104 countries or thereabouts. There's accountants and lawyers, which really are top notch, which are in a position to be able to help their clients in a significant way. So it's really enjoyable.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, and we're actually working together in that sense. Myself in digital marketing, working with Alec to assist that MSI group. But I guess we'll get straight into it then. Alec, if I were to ask you what collaboration means to you, what would you say it means to you?
It's a great question because collaboration is a word that many of us know and it's bandied around a bit at the moment. In fact, I did a search this week and I think it came up 82 million times over this last couple of months, which is significant. So I think collaboration really is the ability to get together, to work with somebody, to create something that has huge benefit for a number of people. So by getting together and working together, you can create something that is even more powerful than that which you're able to do yourself. And that's as simple as I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you see a lot of it in organizations these days, or do you think there's considerable room to improve?
Oh, wow, huge room to improve. Um, there's certainly more opportunity to do it. More people want to do it, and I think it was something you said in your opening, which is what holds them back, which I know we'll come to. But I think the benefits from collaboration are super powerful, and in this digital world, which we're on all the time, you know, then there's just there's almost no barriers, there's no boundaries. We've got this globe that literally is spinning, and we can access it, and we can do business and help people in all parts of the globe. So it's really exciting. And I think it's just a matter of how we really get started with collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit the nail on the head there. You know, it's about working together, you know, strengthening each other where someone else might be weak, to providing where you are strong, and having that network to be able to assist. So I suppose myself, coming from a digital background, you know, I sit in front of the computer all day, and a lot of my connections are virtual in that respect. And even us sitting here face to face, you know, through the internet chatting today, you know, the world's definitely changed. So in an increasingly technologically dependent world, um, how do you see collaboration fitting in?
I think it just presents way more opportunity. You know, I don't see it as a negative in any way. I just see it as a huge positive. So if I can explain a little, I just see with this social digital world that we have and accessibility to things like this in a moment, in a heartbeat, you know, that what it does is it provides an opportunity to build what I call trust, but moments of connection. So we can meet by knocking out a letter or sending an email or something else, creating some banter or some exchange, and then that provides a real pathway as we're building those moments of connection. Those little moments of connection, where increasingly we're building higher levels of trust in the person or the organization or their product or service, that we can then meet face to face. So I just think that this whole technology has provided a beautiful pathway and removed any barriers that there might have been for people to now collaborate in a more powerful way than ever.
So it actually strengthens your position and ability to collaborate rather than what most people, I think, assume, which is that, well, it makes people more introverted and takes away from their collaboration ability. So it's
A
interesting.
big conversation, and one we could have, in terms of social media in many respects. So yes, it might have, like a lot of things, it's how you use it and what you do with it. But I just see it as a potential a very, very powerful way for people to build some connection and then build that forward to another phase, another level of confidence where we go, wow, why don't we now meet face to face? And it just, for the times you can't meet face to face, and once you've built some trust, we can do just like we're doing today. I don't have to jump on a plane from Melbourne to Brisbane. I can talk to you for 20 minutes over, a video conference such as we're doing today, and we can move things forward. So it feels face to face, it's genuine and authentic, and it's here and now, and we can do some stuff, and it's cost effective, clearly.
Yeah, wonderful. I mean, I think, at least I've seen before, some people will just strive to increase that number on their LinkedIn profile, for example, of connections. Yeah. It's great to be able to turn those connections into face-to-face interactions and then continue from there, I think, as well. So I suppose that sort of really well leads on to my next question. Within digital, especially with regards to social media, where do you see social media impacting collaboration? I mean, it's a huge force.
It's a real challenge for people. Everybody, or I shouldn't say everybody, but there are a huge number of people in all various parts of the world who are on some social media, whether that's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever it might be in other parts of the world. And as you said in your sort of intro there, it's not about getting the number of likes or comments, and it's really about providing an opportunity to communicate in a meaningful way, where what you have to offer by way of collaboration brings forward a talent from another person, and then together we can do some really powerful things together. So having just over the last couple of weeks seen Rocket Man with Elton John's story and Bernie Taupin, and how they, Bernie would write songs and he would write lyrics, hopeless at putting songs together, put them all down there, and he could virtually send them across to you, being Elton John right now, and you could tinker at your piano and create some really powerful things without having to drive, or fly to be together. So I think social is it's super powerful, but I think one of the things that businesses struggle with is how do they strategically integrate that in a meaningful way where they can connect with their customers. And they're battling this thing about, we need to be professional. So we can't be too casual, we can't be too familiar. And they're battling about this personal life and professional life. And I think the reality is that with this notion of authenticity and only wanting to deal with people who are genuine, when we have authenticity and we feel we're dealing with someone who genuinely cares about us, it builds back to trust. And if we build trust, we can then build moments where we can collaborate. So I see the challenge and the opportunity for business is to try and integrate those more harmoniously into their business and into their strategy and communication with clients. That's what I would suggest. Sorry about that. I just had a little phone thing go off in the background.
No, that's okay. I suppose that's part of the digital world. We're now so connected. Anyone can reach us anytime. But no, I think you're absolutely spot on. It's about leveraging that new technology and being authentic through that. I talk to businesses coming from a digital perspective all the time and say, I don't know. I know about Facebook. I don't know if I should get involved. I don't really want people, being able to see our business and everything that we do. And should we really be posting all our social events? But I think that it's either you get left behind or you run with everyone else and strengthen your position there. So do you have any around those sort of specific steps and milestones that people or the steps people can take to start leveraging and using technology better for collaboration, especially businesses?
Well, so if I just talk about perhaps a framework to get collaboration started, and that can be applied in any sense. So I think very much about collaboration. We've talked about trust and the importance of building trust. And trust is a feeling. That's something. It's not tangible. So I can't pick up a trust pen. Here's a pen that's going to guarantee trust, right? But we all know the feeling when trust is not there. So it's an intangible thing. And we build it as a result of the things that we do. And not just by our words, but by what we do. And the more that we do what we say we're going to do, then it's more likely, and on the balance that we like each other. And I'm not saying like each other in a sense that you want a new best friend, but to the extent that we like doing business together, in other words, the things that we believe in or the values that we share, and our purpose of working together that's brought us together allows us to collaborate. And so what I think that genuinely leads to is expectations. So we need to clarify our expectations right up front when we're going to collaborate. So, because otherwise we have a breakdown in communication, we have a breakdown in expectations, and that might lead to, less than optimum outcome. So what I would say is get clear with whoever you are. So if you and I are collaborating on something, Tom, what I would say is let's talk about your objectives. Let's talk about my objectives. Let's talk about the commonality objectives that we have, for example, with a client. So if we're clear about those objectives, we've documented those, then, visually, so you can literally look up and you can see them, yeah? The next thing I would suggest you do, almost point number 2, is to get really clear about what success will look like, yeah? So if the objective was to help the client introduce their business into Australia, having done work, having been resident in Germany, for example, or the UK, then we would want to say, okay, well, what would success look like for you? Would that mean that you would have some market share? Would it mean an X number of sales? Would it mean that so many of your products have got increased penetration? And if so, ask a deeper question again, how many of those? So it's very much about establishing what I would call the what is it that you want, or what will success look like? Yes. And then we can then think about how we could work together to do that. Yes. And the third point I would say to wrap that up, Tom, would be, given that we now understand and appreciate our objectives, we now understand our metrics of success, our measures of success, so we're going to be happy with each other, the client's going to be happy as well. Then if we then also mutually understand the value that each party will get, receive, enjoy as a result of what we put together, then we've got some context. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it even comes back to when I first started working with you. One of the first things that you had done was outline the objectives, what we're looking to do, and what a measure of success would be with regards to that. So then we were able to put together a plan with very specific milestones to help achieve that. And I think that's where collaboration starts, with that one conversation to sort of say, well, where are we going? And let's document it. Let's be specific about it. So absolutely. I think that you're absolutely right there. And technology, going back to the second question we were at today, technology just helps to be able to communicate that and to be back and forth about that as well. So do you have any advice for businesses who are thinking, I know I need to collaborate, I know I need to start making use of social to do this as well, but it probably all looks like a really big task, or a really big mountain to climb. How do you get started?
Really interesting question. I think it applies to a lot of things in life. Is what I would say is, let's collaborate by design. Let's not just wait for it to happen, for a client need to come up. And for me, then I'll think about, who do I know in that space? What about if we really want to build some great relationships and build and grow our business and help our clients, then how about we collaborate by design? And what I would suggest is that we start to think about, well, let's just get started. Let's start with one thing, with one project, with one client, with one country that you may want to work in, with one sector where you have expertise. So let's just start with one. Most of us can do one thing. Even if I'm superbly unfit, which I'm not, I could do one push-up. Then I could do 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'll just do another 5. And then I'll do another 5, and before you know it, I've done 25. So it's not so hard. But if I don't get started, I'll never get anywhere. It's a bit like saying, well, we know this plane is awesome and we could be heading right off to Hawaii or to Rio, and we can have a wonderful holiday. But if we can't get that big baby off the ground and into the air, then we're never going to enjoy the benefits. So what I would say is, whatever fear you're having, whatever you think is holding you back, have a moment, just have a courage pill and just say, I'm going to get started. And what my observation out there has been that people don't, if they know the benefits of collaboration, which they do, and they want to collaborate and they want to work with other people, they want referrals in, they want to, that sort of thing. Well, how about you start with giving yourself? And so just get started. So I'd be thinking a lot of people have some sort of fear. And that's usually that the fear might be something like, I don't know who to work with. I don't know how well they really know this subject matter. You know, what if they let me down? What if their standards are not as high as mine? What if they charge more fees than I would charge? What if their response time is not right? What if? So those are usually fears. So I think most of those could be resolved or put to ease. Again, baby steps, by just going back to that framework that I described about have a conversation with, if it's you and I again, Tom, let's talk about your objectives. All right, great, Tom. Okay, and then what would success look like on one of those objectives, Tom? Tom tells me, and then we say, okay, the value to you would be this, and he goes, oh, wow. So why don't we just get started with one of those and we work on that? And through what I say and what I deliver and my speed and my response and the detail, you go, I feel this is working pretty well. Back to that feeling. That's what collaboration, that's what trust is about. It's a feeling of trust. And the more that I trust you, wow, let's get going. And it's amazing what we can actually produce when we trust each other.
Yeah, definitely. I see it all the time. You know, businesses saying, "Oh, we want to be able to collaborate," or people saying, "Oh, I really would like more referrals, even when they're networking, things like that." And you go, "Well, how about you sort of think of firstly, what can you give?" And you know, it's a matter of expectations in your mindset to say, don't expect something immediately. You know, you give, and eventually it comes back. And I've seen a lot of people be successful with that too. And you're absolutely right in terms of, I suppose, starting with just baby steps, in a sense, just picking one thing and executing it by design to collaborate with someone on. So I suppose we touched on it just a little bit there as well, but that fear factor, you know, people are scared that, you know, as you said, that what's going to happen if I refer to someone, you know, their price is right, are they going to do a good job, are they going to run away with my client, you know, as well. Yeah. So have you experienced a lot of that in your work with business improvement? And how do you suggest people sort of, I guess, get over that fear?
You know, we all come from different places. We've all had different experiences before we've met a new person, and we filter what we see and what we hear in our own mind and in our own heart. So, and because we come from a different place, we don't often share that straight up. You know, whether it's self-esteem or some confidence, or you've had a bad experience with somebody who looked, feel, acted, sounded like you. So we've just got to, there has to be some leap of faith. And, you know, some people are genuinely risk averse because they have had situations that have not worked well. But that doesn't mean that you then say, I'm never going to work with anybody ever again. I think what you might do is just maybe try something a little more slowly, a little more gently, and test somebody out a little bit. Maybe test is the wrong word, but just give somebody an opportunity with a small piece of work or a small project. And we build, as I said, we build trust through moments, positive moments of connection and response. And the good news with the MSI, Global Alliance firms, is that most of them, well, all of them are highly vetted. So you know you're dealing with an organization, whether it's an accountant or a lawyer or a specialist in more than 104 countries, who absolutely is past strict selection criteria. But more than that, you know that they will all respond quickly, that they all have a capacity to communicate, speak, and correspond in English, even if their natural language is something different. And then in addition, you also know that they are getting together and meeting face to face. So there are all sorts of regional meetings all over the world where people are actually meeting, connecting, shaking hands, you know, spending some time together. And when you spend a little bit of time together with somebody, and then you do it in a sense where it's attached to a project that you're collaborating on, you just think, well, great, I have a greater feeling of trust in that person, in that organization. I now know what they do really well, and I trust them to work with them on this. And then when you work on somebody on a particular thing, you might find they know something more about something else. And then if they don't know about another matter, you will feel confidence, a level of trust that they will then provide you to somebody who's going to meet your standards. Because we've already been through this whole process of building trust through outlining expectations, delivering on promises on time. So you know I'm not going to let you down. I'm going to be honest with you. and therefore I'm going to, if I can't do it or someone in our organisation can't do it, I'm going to refer you to somebody who, again, I've had a very positive experience. So when you multiply that out by the number of firms that are in the MSI Global Alliance across the globe, or in our part of the world here in Australia, New Zealand and Fiji, then you know that by and large, you've got most expertise, most experience, most sectors covered, and the depth of the connectivity and the ability to deliver is really, really high.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, especially as we go back to our initial point about how to sort of connect in a digital world, those trust is so valuable. And from both a client's perspective and from a firm's perspective, the best kind of work, the best kind of supplies you'll get come from referrals, come from that trust that's there. Because if you're referred over to someone, you know that they're going to do a good job because you already have that connection and there's that expectation too, as opposed to going out into the dark and finding someone who aligns with you. You know, the chances are not as high that you will find someone who does align. You know, so I think that especially that's one of the first things I noticed working with the MSI group is that there is that trust between members. And as you said, they're all highly vetted and everybody knows each other really well. And so from that, the clients get the added benefit of, I guess, having the global network without having to just go search around in the dark, sort of feel around for a firm if they're planning on expanding overseas or something. It sort of just removes that hurdle. So I suppose those are just the only questions I had for you today. We'll keep it short and sharp, but thank you very much for your time, Alec, and your expertise on this matter. I think you're definitely a subject matter expert, and it's great to be able to hear from you too. So thank you for your time, and we'll finish up there.
Thanks very much, Tom. It was a pleasure to join you.